My name is Amosun Ifakorede Ajishefa. I am a Babalawo from Oyo State, Ibadan. I studied both under the tutelage of my father and some other great Babalawo.
So what's the difference between Babalawo and Ifa priest?
The Babalawo is the same as the Ifa priest. But if I'm to get your question right, you might want to know the difference between the Babalawo and Ifa priest and Onishe herbalist.
Yes.
Okay. A Babalawo is anyone who is vast knowledge, that has vast knowledge in the knowledge of Ifa. The person can make Ifa divination, the person can chant Ifa, the person can use either Opele or Iken divination system. But when it comes to an herbalist, herbalism is just the knowledge of herbs, the knowledge of usage of both leaves, trees, trunks, and every other things that has to do with herbs. So the difference is quite clear. One has to be vast in the knowledge of the fact that
So why did you choose to
Why did you choose this profession?
this profession?
okay. The first reason is the whole of my family lineage, they've always been into this profession. In fact, I can say it's a profession of the family. It is so far that I cannot even know where it started from, according to history. And as I was growing up, my father gave me the opportunity of mixing with both the Christian religion, the Muslims, and everyone. But at the same time, he taught me the knowledge of Ifa right from childhood. And when I'm old enough to make decision on myself, I decided that this is the way because there is pureness in Ifa spirituality.
How do you know the right incantation? Do you know it offhand? Or how do you know the right incantation for different things?
Okay. I will like to correct a misconception.
Okay.
Babalawo do not say incantation. What we say is Ifa chant, which I call Odu Ifa, Abi Ese Ifa. So there are 256 Odu Ifa, and each of the 256 has multiple Ese Ifa, which the Ese Ifa seems like a verse. A verse. So there are so many verses.
So they're
In each Ese Ifa, there are more than 2048 Ese Ifa in each.
so it has chapters and verses.
Yes.
So do you recite them offhand or you have a book that you
No, Babalawo do not use book. The first thing they do to us is right from, I won't say right from childhood because some people learn it at the old age. So once you start learning Ifa, they will start teaching you by chapter. They'll teach you by verses by verses. So, and everything will be arranged to you in the order. So if you have to cram this, then after cramming, you need to understand it. Because in each Eseifa, there is always a message embedded in each Eseifa. So can I start an example?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Like a particular Odu, Ejiope, it says Iyo, Iyo. Ifá fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà, wọ́n ní bàbá òbí rẹ̀ ní eré báyìí. Ìfanirọ́ ni wọ́n ń pa, ó lékè ni wọ́n ń ṣe, ó ní ẹni tó bá lówó ńlá yọ̀ fún iyọ̀ òwúrọ̀. Ifá jẹ́ kí wọ́n ó yọ̀ fún mi iyọ̀ òwúrọ̀. Ẹni tó bá kọ́lé, ẹni tó bá bímọ, tó bá ní ire gbogbo ńlá yọ̀ fún iyọ̀ òwúrọ̀. Ifá jẹ́ kí wọ́n ó yọ̀ fún mi, wọ́n bá gbogbo wa yọ̀. Lágbára Olódùmarè. Bí ẹsẹ̀ fáì bí wọ́n ṣe kọ́ wa ní ẹyọ kọ̀ọ̀kan ni. And you have to cram it. Then the way I crammed it is the way I just said it. But now, because it will still be explained to you so that you can understand the interpretation and the message embedded in this Ifa. So now let's try to interpret this Ifa. Iyo Iyo, that is celebration by celebration, casted divination for Orunmila when evil principality stands on the fact that it will never be celebrated. So what did Orunmila do for him to be celebrated? He was told to propitiate his Ifa and his Eleda. And when he did these things, he became celebrated. And when are you celebrated? It is when you have goodness. It is when you have prosperity. It is when you have success that you be celebrated. So this is how each Obifa is being explained and is being used.
So who is Orunmila to Ifa?
Orunmila is a prophet, just like other Orishas. The meaning of Orisha is not, the direct translation of Orisha is not deities. They are any Orisha. So they are prophets sent by God to come and mend this world. So one of them is also Orunmila. But when Orunmila started his life, he started as an herbalist, and only the wisdom given to him by Olodumare. These are the only things Orunmila was using to mend this world, helping the sick, helping people that are in need of spiritual elevation, or one thing or the other. But at the point, Orunmila realized that this is not enough. He realized that if he takes care of 10 people, only 7 or 6 of them get what they want or get better. Then, through his communication to Olodumare, he spoke to Olodumare. How can I have a complete victory in this world? Then Olodumare promised to bless him. Then Olodumare gave him Ifa. This Ifa is not an Orisha. Ifa serves as a medium between Olodumare and Orunmila. So when Orunmila is confused on something, maybe he's about to take a step that is not sure of, maybe he has a question that he wants to ask Olodumare, maybe he has an advice that he wants to seek from Olodumare, then Orunmila will cast this Ifa. Then Olodumare will be aware of these questions immediately. Then he will give reply to him through Ifa. And through interpretation of this Ifa, Orunmila knows what to do. This knowledge is then passed down from one generation to another before it now reaches our own stage. I will pass it to our children.
So like, what are the other deities?
Okay, I would prefer we call them Orisha.
The other Orisha.
Because Orisha, the way, if you check the translation or the meaning of deity, you will see that it does not suit the meaning of Orisha. Orisha are any Orisha that special being, especially made people. So they are given one purpose or the other to accomplish. But when you see a deity, it is just you making something and turning it to a small god. You understand? So I think there is difference between these two entities. So now your question is why?
Yeah, no, like can you tell us other
Orishas? Okay, we have so many other Orishas. In fact, there are 401 of them. The reason why there is one added to it is that the numbers of Orishas and Orisha that is limitless. And it's Orisha that I am serving a purpose in this world. And in Orisha that you are going to serve one purpose or the other in this world. But there are some principal Orisha in the Yoruba spirituality. Some of them are Orisha Obatala. It is believed that Orisha Obatala is the person that Olodumare gave the function of creating human being. But it's Olodumare that puts life and essence in them. Orisha Oya is the one that controls the wind. She's a goddess. She controls the wind, the tornado, and every other forces of the world. Orisha Sango also controls other forces of the world like the thunder, the lightning, and so many other things. Orisha Eshu, Laruye. Eshu is the one that serves as middleman between Olodumare and human being and every other things in this world. It makes sure if you do good, you reward goodness. If it makes sure if you do something bad, you reap what you sow. Olodumare is the Eshwadara is the one. It serves like it functions like policeman of the spiritual world.
So what you are also trying to say is that issue is not Satan.
It's not the
Issue is not Satan. Issue is not devil. From my own perspective, you see that you cannot directly liken an Orisha, a character in one religion, to the other. If there is no Jesus in Yoruba spirituality, then there is no Satan in Yoruba spirituality. If there can be no Orunmila in Christianity, why would there be Satan in Yoruba spirituality? If there is a space for Satan in Christianity, there is a space for Satan in Islamic, or I don't know what they call it. That is why I use Satan. That does not mean there has to be Jesus or Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, in every other religion. So you cannot liken if you check the attributes of Satan, you see that they describe him as someone that do bad every time. And issue is not like that in Yoruba spirituality. He does both good and bad. It is whichever one you ask for. So if you do good, issue will make sure you reap it. You will make sure you gain what goes around comes around to you. And if you choose to do bad, you reap whatever you sow. So we cannot name all the Orishas. In fact, there are so many other Orishas. I'm sorry if because I can't mention all of them. But these are all the Orishas with the spirituality.
Thank you very much. Do you mind telling us how do you do divinations? For instance, if I came to you and I wanted a divination, what would be the process?
Okay. Process of divination is simple. In fact, Ifa is like mathematics. There is nothing mystical in Ifa. Let me explain what I mean by this statement. If you come to me for divination, then as a medium, I'll tell you to take out money. The money is just serving as a medium to bring your message to Ifa. I can as well tell you not to bring money, and you speak to either my Okwele or my Ikifa directly. Whichever way we choose, both work. When you now take this money, we tell you to say whatever question, whatever inquiry you want to make, say it to this money. Then you will mention your name and your mother's name. You will ask me, why do we use mother's name?
Why do you use mother's name?
Okay, we use mother's name because in most cases, there is no the mother that borns you cannot be easily compromised. Whoever they tell you is your father until you prove it right or wrong. So that is why they use the mother's name. And apart from that, your mother is your source. Your father has to leave the sperm that made you, has to leave your father's body, then mix with something in your mother's body, which serves as a portal between the heaven realm and this earth realm. So that is why we use the mother's name. So now, when you say your mother's name and your name to the money, let's use that, then you give it to me, then I am going to press Ifa, I am going to call the name of Ifa, then I'm going to tell Ifa to check you with respect to your question. Then I'm going to cast this divination. How do I cast divination? It can be done through three means. The first means is through Okwele divination. Okwele is a divination chain. It has 8 phases. And every time this is dropped, an Odu will be made. Out of this, the probability of any Odu being made is 1 over 256. This is not predicted. I can't predict it. You cannot predict it. Once the Okwele is dropped, a message is sent. out of the 256 Oduifa, a single Odu will come out for you. It is this single Odu. Then I'm going to ask whether this single Odu foresee goodness or foresee evil or evil principalities. What do I mean by goodness? Sometimes Oduifa will come out and will tell you that what you first see immediately will divide for you is wealth. We tell you that goodness, wealth is coming for you. That is if you don't already have it yet. If it is goodness of having a new baby or whatever goodness it is, and if it is something bad, we tell you whatever it is, then we tell you what to do to revoke or to rebuke whatever evil it is. So after asking whether it's for goodness or for the other way around, then we ask, what do we need to do to bring this goodness or to rebuke these evil or evil principalities? So once this is done, then I will tell you the message of Ifa. So for example, in the Odu of Ogbe Owanrin, Ifa says, Jambu Jambu, ere inú mi ò jùsà, ìrìn inú mi kò júrì. Ká sọ fún yọ̀tọ̀yọ̀tọ̀ méjì kí wọ́n mọ́ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀bìtì. Bí yọ̀tọ̀yọ̀tọ̀ méjì ò bá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀bìtì, ẹ̀bìtì ò lè rí pamọ́. Bí bá fún wèrè tí ń tọrùn bọ̀ wálé ayé, òwèrè là ń jà gbogbo wa láwálé ayé tá a wá ṣiṣẹ́. When tó ní san òwò pọ̀, òwèrè là ń jà gbogbo wa. From this Odu, if I actually divide this particular Odu for you, and I want to pick interpretation from the SFA that I just chanted, I will tell you that even though this person is trying, you are trying your best in terms of accumulation of wealth, chasing prosperity, but it is not working out well for you because your head, which is your eleda, is not yet in alignment with whatever you are doing. What you need to do is you need to propitiate your head, you need to call your head for your head to be in alignment with whatever thing you are doing. Because the Ifa says, gbogbo wa la wálé ayé tá a wá ṣiṣẹ́, ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tí orísun kò wọ́pọ̀. That means there are so many people just working. They are doing a lot. They are sweating themselves out, but yet they are not getting any reasonable thing as reward from this effort. That means there's probability that their head is not in alignment. So this is how we pick interpretation from Oduifa. So many, once we pick any Oduifa, there is always a message from that Oduifa. One Oduifa says, once we tete ko mo ba kọjá. This same Oduifa says, mari bẹ̀rẹ̀ ko mo ba dare. That means you need to do things one step at a time. If you rush yourself into things, you are not going to get what you desire. In fact, along the line, you can lose something precious to you. Part of this precious to you is your life. So this is how Ifa talks, and this is how Ifa advises people in each Oduifa. From another Oduifa, Ogbeyonu, Ifa says, Ole mole mole, ole umokun, ole gbaru gbaru, arudo kiti. Ifa fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà, bàbá jagunjagun yóò mú sùúrù lẹ́rú. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ rí ẹ sọ fún kó fi sùúrù kún, bínú bá lè lálejò, ire mọ́ ń ré kọjá. That means this message is clear. Ifa is telling you that tí inú rẹ bá lè lálejò, ire lè ré kọjá rẹ. That is, this person has anger issues and the person needs to work on their anger issue because this anger comes when they are already close to goodness. So this is how message of Ifa comes. Then when we are done with delivering this message, then we give you a chance to talk to us. When you are talking to us, you are going to tell us whether we are able to hit the target. That is, whether we are able to reach your question, whether we are able to provide answer to your inquiry. Then the next thing is how you think you can manage the advice given to you. And if there is any other question that you want to ask in relation to our message, you ask us, or that is not even in alignment with our message, you will ask us, then we are going to explain to you. One Yoruba saying says, that is, you don't go to Ifa with confusion and come back with confusion. that means the Babalawo has not done justice to your questions. So when we've done justice to your question, this is when we now ask the prescribed ebo, or etutu that needs to be done. People will say ebo is evil. Ebo is not evil. Ebo is everything we do. It's what we do every day. We all make one sacrifice or the other to reach to hit a particular target. For me to be learned, I have to go to school. I can as well choose to stay at home, sleeping in my father's house. That means I've made a particular sacrifice. So in the spiritual world too, in the spiritual realm, you need to do one sacrifice or the other in alignment with in relation to the Oduifa that is defined to you, and they will tell you what to do. Not in all situations that they will tell you to do sacrifice. Sometimes Ifa will just advise you that if that is the necessary thing you need to do. Sometimes we tell you to just do it orianu. Sometimes we tell you to tún ìwà ara rẹ ṣe. Sometimes we will tell you to seek advice from people. For example, what Odufa says, ọgbọ́n ọ̀nà ọmọ ní mọ́mọ́ rẹ̀ ọ̀fun ìmọ̀ràn ní ro ìmọ̀ràn lérò. Ifá ní béèyàn bá gbọ́n lágbọ̀n jù yóò kanra rẹ̀ ní nǹkan. Wá fábẹ̀wò aya àbẹ̀wò àbẹ̀wò dé o aya àbẹ̀wò bó bá tún dààmú dún ẹ wá bẹ̀ wá wò. This Ifa is telling, this particular Ifa is telling that person that even though this person is very wise, that person should not rely on their own wisdom only. You have to seek from other people. A particular Odu also, Ọ̀wọ̀nríndàgbọ́n says, Ọ̀wọ̀nríndàgbọ́n ẹni tó bá dágbọ́n yóò dàgbọ́. That means you don't have to rely only on your own wisdom. Sometimes you have to seek for this wisdom for you not to make mistakes.
So our next question is about money rituals. Does it exist? Is it just a thing that is in the news, or is it true? Do you mind explaining to us?
Of course, I will explain. Let me start by saying, in Ifa spirituality, there is nothing like money ritual. Ifa says from the old book, Ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì, says Sekube àwọn wọn lóde Ìbàdàn, tó wá fún wọn lóde Ìbàdàn, wọ́n sunkún páwọn lájẹ́. Sekube ò wá wo òde Ìbàdàn, Sepe táwo tẹ́ni ò bá ṣiṣẹ́ ẹni kì í là. What that Ifa is saying is that you have to work, you have to accumulate wealth before you can be wealthy. You have to work. Ifa ní bí ẹni ò bá ṣiṣẹ́ ẹni kì í là. While working, you might be facing one challenges or the other. Ifa does not guarantee that while working, everything will be smooth. Nothing goes straightforward in this world. For example, in the Oduifa of Ọ̀sà Oníbú, Ifa says, iṣẹ́ ní ṣe ìtọ́jú, òun ṣe ní béèrè, òun tẹ́ni ó ṣe là mójútó, òun tẹ́ni bá mú ilẹ̀ ní ṣe. Tí wọ́n bá ń gbọ́ndò lójú, tí wọ́n bá ń gbọ́ndò lẹ́rùn, ẹrẹ ata sí wọn lójú, ẹrẹ ata sí wọn lẹ́nu. Àdúrà bá jà ní ọmọ agbọ́nkùnlà, ọmọ agbọ́nbúlá ńlá ṣòwò. Orí jẹ́ kí n lówó, kí n rí bí àjà ní ọmọ agbọ́nkùnlà, ọmọ agbọ́nbúlá ńlá ṣòwò. Orí jẹ́ kí n kọ́lé, kí n rí bí àjà ní ọmọ agbọ́nkùnlà, ọmọ agbọ́nbúlá ńlá ṣòwò. From this Oduifa, if we check from, Ifa has three parts: the Oluwo, the Eni Adifafu, and the Kadi. The Oluwo is the first statement I made before Adiafu. The Adiafu is Eniti Adifafu, that is, he who the Ifa was defined for. And the Kadi is the last message that if I want to say regarding that Ifa. I'm sorry for the digression. From the Oluwo of this Odu that I just cited, you will see that Ifa says, iṣẹ́ ní ṣe ìtọ́jú. That is, iṣẹ́ téèyàn bá ń ṣe lèèyàn mọ́ ń mójútó. Owó ṣe ní béèrè, owó tó o bá fẹ́ ṣe, o gbọ́dọ̀ béèrè. Ọ̀nà méjì láti máa ń béèrè nípa òwò. Alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ni pé ṣé ó bá ẹlẹ́dàá mi. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì ni pé báwo ni wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe òwe. Tó o bá fẹ́ kọ́ iṣẹ́ aṣọ, tó o fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ aṣọ ní títà, ó kàn lè dìde kó o bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbé aṣọ ní títà. Ó ní jèrè torí ò mọ bí wọ́n ṣe é ṣe. Yàtọ̀ fún pé èèyàn lè béèrè lọ́wọ́ Ifá. You can ask Ifá that the selling of clothes is in alignment with my destiny? If Ifa says yes, that is Ibere part 1. The second part of the Ibere is that you will now go and learn how this thing is done. Òun ṣe ní Ibere, òun tẹ́ni ó ṣe là mójútó. Ifa says, òun tẹ́ni bá mọ̀ ilẹ̀ ni mo ń ṣe. When you now realize that owó yìí mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀, but èrè yóò tún tó, you learn more. That is, òun tẹ́ni bá mọ̀ ilẹ̀ ni mo ń ṣe o. Èyí tó bá mọ̀ ni kó o ṣe, òun bá ṣòwò ṣọ́ọ̀tì. Tí wọ́n bá ń gbọ́n dò lójò, tí wọ́n bá ń gbọ́n odò lẹ́rùn, ẹrẹ́ mọ́ ń ta sí wọn lójú, ẹfẹ́rẹ́ mọ́ ń ta sí wọn lẹ́rùn. Message of Ifa is allegorical. What do I mean by this statement? Sometimes Ifa will just deliver a message by saying a parable instead of going directly to the point. For example, ẹrẹ́ ata sí wọn lójú, ẹrẹ́ ata sí wọn lẹ́nu, tí wọ́n bá ń gbọ́n dò lójú, tí wọ́n ń gbọ́n dò lẹ́rùn. That means even though you have asked Ifa about what to do, you are fully learned about your work, you know how to do it, you are doing it in the proper way, challenges will still come. That is ìgbà tó ń gbọ́dọ̀ lójú. Anytime ìgbà tó ń gbọ́dọ̀ lẹ́rùn, ẹ̀rí ó ta sí ọ lójú, yóò ta sí ọ lẹ́nu, ó wá kú bí wàá ṣe fọ̀ tí ó mú. That is when you go for spiritual cleansing through Ifa divination. Adébáfájà ní ọmọ agbókùlà, ọmọ agbókùlà lásòwò. That is the person Ifa is divine for. But at the end of this message of Ifa, Ifa now say, orí jẹ́ kí n ní owó, kí n dàbí àjà ní ọmọ agbókùlà, ọmọ agbókùlà lásòwò. I know you don't understand what that means. What that simply means is that even though you can be fully learned in your work, you can know how to do it, you can follow all the principles tí ó wá kù sọ́wọ́ ẹlẹ́dàá rẹ̀ pé ó ṣe là àbó ò ní ṣe là. Ṣùgbọ́n tó o bá ń ṣe, tó follow principles, o ò ní tọrọ jẹ, o kàn ní mọ́ là ní ọlà púpọ̀. Tí ẹlẹ́dàá rẹ̀ ò bá kí ń ṣe ẹni tó ń lọ́là púpọ̀. Gbogbo wa láwálé ayé tá a wá ṣiṣẹ́, bí orí ó ṣe san oníkálukú ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni bí Ifá ṣe ṣàlàyé lélẹ̀. Kí n wá padà sí orí ògùn owó, which is money ritual. You will see that what Ifa is putting forward to all of us is to work and accumulate wealth. It is not to find dubious means. It's not in Ifa spirituality. I cannot directly say money ritual does not exist. Do you know why? Because I have come to realize that whatever you seek from the nature, if you seek effortlessly, without giving up, you can get it. At a point, there was nothing like bomb in this world. Some people started doing research. They were so keen on this research that at the end of the day, they got to develop bomb. So the way it is in the physical world is the way it is in the medical world and the way it is in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, if you seek for evil and you refuse to give up, even though you know the consequences, and you choose to set and set and set, maybe one day nature might give you. So that is why I will not say money ritual does not exist. But to my own knowledge, to the knowledge of Ifa, there is nothing like that in Ifa spirituality. There is nothing like that in Isheshe. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Very much. Is there anything you would like to say before we end this session?
Okay. What I would love to tell everyone, home and abroad, and everywhere and anywhere in the world, is that Ifa spirituality is not evil. For anything we want to do in Ifa spirituality, we put the name of Olodumare first, Iba Olorun, before we do anything. Iba ènìyàn, Iba àwọn tí Ọlọ́run kó lé ayé lé lọ́wọ́. This is how we start. And a particular Ifa says, ìhín ńlá àbáyà sí, ọ̀hún ńlá àbáyà sí, ìrònà ńlá sì bọ̀ rẹ̀ sí. Pípa fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà bàbá fi Olódùmarè ṣe bàbá. Olódùmarè ògbójúlé ọ. Olódùmarè èmi fi ẹ̀yìn tì ọ́. Ẹnìkan kì í gbójú tí Olódùmarè gbójú ó tì. Gbogbo wa ká gbójú tí Olódùmarè. Gbogbo ọ̀nà tí a bá fi ń pe Olódùmarè, Olódùmarè ó máa jẹ́ wa. Ṣé.
Thank you very, very much.